national parliament, and this is the fourth budget of our presidential system, to which we have left our mark as the Justice and Development Party. This budget proposal has been prepared after great endeavors initiated as of April, going all the way till the end of October. Both our ministries and many of our civil society organizations have involved in the preparation of this budget proposal, and this budget proposal will be seen as the roadmap for the future of our Turkey. We have published the midterm program as of September, so the main items can be seen in our budget proposal. Today, we will negotiate and discuss the budget proposal within the auspices of the Budget Control Commission, and all items of our budget proposals will be discussed in great depth. The central government budget expenses is 1,751 billion Turkish liras, and the budget gains is 1.4 billion Turkish liras. As a result, the deficit is seen to be 251 million Turkish liras. Of course, this is a budget prepared with precaution, and hopefully the realized budget will be in a better situation. The distribution of the central government budget expenses has covered the needs of our nation and all our provinces, and this budget has been prepared with a sustainable understanding, taken into consideration the needs of our nation and people all the time. An important part of the budget goes to the education. This year, the share allocated for the healthcare services increased remarkably this year. Likewise, the resource allocated for the social expenditures have been prepared in such a way that we will stand strongly with our nation. As a result, the social expenditures is comprising the 6% of our budget. The support goes to our tradesmen, and the artisan will be one of the most important items of our budget proposals. Of course, as we are going through challenging times, we never sacrificed from the budget to be allocated to our defense industry. In a nutshell, we have increased the budget item allocated for our central government expenses by 30%. As a result, we will make sure that we will take the necessary steps so that our country will stand strong in the face of such global crisis and pandemic. The coronavirus pandemic has had a huge impact in all the economic system, from logistics to the healthcare services, and we would like to make use of this crisis. Likewise, the developing countries and the developed countries' economies have contracted with certain exemptions, but as the Republic of Turkey, we have grown this year, so we have delivered the positive signals. In the first 2 quarters of 2021, the economic growth in Turkey was remarkable. We are making use of all our potential, and our exports are breaking records over records. And with comparison to the pre-COVID-19 term, our employment figures increased even more. And our manufacturers are chasing after raw materials and the machineries in order to increase their outputs in production. As the global political and economic order is being reshaped at these days, we are working day and night so that Turkey will receive the place that it deserves. With all the roads, with all the tunnels and hospitals and dams and irrigation facilities and organized industrial zones that we have constructed, we will once again understand their importance, especially during those challenging times. In order for Turkey to differentiate herself from this crisis in a positive fashion and turning the Turkey into a positive manufacturing site, it was possible only thanks to our endeavors and efforts that we have put forward in the recent years. And we have shaped our development goals according to those challenging times. As we have overcome the pandemic with our strong healthcare infrastructure, hopefully we will overcome the problems resulting out of the climate change with our green development revolution. The national technology move that we have taken will enable us to come to better places, defense industry being in the first place. With the green economic development move, we are determined to make our economy carbon neutral. We will make sure that each one of our provinces will be developed even further. As a result, the prosperity for our whole nation will be improved. And in order to realize those goals, we will continue to construct many more masterpieces in the future as well. That's why $3,157,000,000 of a fund will be allocated for our country from the Green Economy Fund, and this agreement has already been undersigned, which is a great news that I would like to share with you. The Ministry of Environment and Urbanization, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Finance have been following this Memorandum of Understanding as of 2018, and with the undersigning of this Memorandum of Understanding, the public and the private sector will have such an appealing financial resources for their projects. And 12.5 to $66.5 million of this fund will be donated to those projects. May it be auspicious for our country and for our nation. Valuable friends, we were fighting against the flood disasters and the forest fires. After such kind of a challenging year, we are facing the threat of drought. Although we have come to the end of October, unfortunately, the majority of our lands are far away from the rainfall that they require for the agricultural activities. Unfortunately, the drought reduced the agricultural production in many provinces. The fluctuations in terms of the rainfall leads countries to be concerned about their food stocks. As a result, many countries are increasing their stocks, thereby leading a skyrocketing increase in the food prices. And as the Republic of Turkey, we are taking our precautions accordingly. First and foremost, we are supporting our farmers and agricultural workers with the most efficient way possible. The agricultural support and incentive that we have provided to our farmers have already reached to the level of 396 billion Turkish liras. In terms of the fertilization support, we have increased our supports by 100%, and 50% of the oil required by our farmers have been covered by us. And in terms of manufacturing the foods that we try to suffice through imports, are given as a priority. That's why we are attaching significant importance to the livestock development as well. In the auspices of the agricultural development programs, we have extended 3.6 billion Turkish liras of support to more than 6,000 projects. As a result, 108,000 of new employment opportunities have been created. The Agricultural Product Office has made sure that the agricultural products are procured with the suitable prices, and this office is used for extending our support to our farmers. After the agricultural insurance funds, we have also realized the labor force insurance fund, so that the labor of our farmers are not being wasted and they have been compensated. And as a result, in terms of efficiency, we have increased our coverage to 80%. Under the Tarsim project, 1.8 million insurance policy in the agricultural sector has been issued, and its volume and value reached to 1.8 billion Turkish liras. We are disseminating our irrigation facilities. Up until now, we have constructed 600 dams and 1,557 irrigation facilities, which have been already put to the service of our nation. During our term, 20 million hectares of land have been opened for further irrigation. This translates into an additional income of 60 million Turkish liras of an annual gain. With the Water Council meeting, which had been finalized as of last week, we have shared our water policies with the public. Of course, we have been closely following the difficulties of our farmers and agricultural workers. After the outset of the pandemic, the logistics crisis brought along huge increases in the agricultural sector in terms of feed and fertilization prices. And we worked day and night so that those increases wouldn't be reflected to our producers. What I kindly request from our producers is not to leave 1 meter of a land empty and without being seeded. It is seen that the fluctuations in those prices will continue for a while. So I would like to make sure that your labor will definitely be compensated. You should make sure that your efforts will be heard and will be compensated. As a result, we try to make sure that the procurement of those agricultural products will be kept at the highest level possible. And we are developing new models of procurements, because the agricultural sector is as important as the defense industry for us, because we are trying to protect both our producers and consumers, and that's how we will continue to be standing with our producers. And I am certain that our Turkish Grand National Assembly will fulfill its duties in that regard. Valuable friends, this great place, this great institution, which is the place where the national will is being heard, is also an instrument for our nation to look forward with great confidence. Apart from our legislative responsibilities, the members of the parliament have a huge burden to shoulder. For each one of our MPs, there is no greater reward than being the representative of our whole nation. Each one of our MPs have started leaving their names behind after their term comes to an end in the history, with all the efforts that they have put forward and with all the beautiful traces that they are leaving behind. Each members of the parliament are leaving their names behind accordingly, with all the services that they rendered, with all the bridges that they are constructing with the hearts of our nation. Our members of the parliament will never be forgotten, and they will be remembered with appreciation, respect, and love. The members of the parliament who were able to perform at this level, they will receive the reward after the election. That was the mentality of the Justice and Development Party. As we have entered to our first election, we came out from those elections as a single political party in power, and that's how we proceeded with our pathway with those principles in mind. So, as the Justice and Development Party, we have always finished our elections as the number one political party in Turkey. Likewise, as of 2014, the Justice and Development Party members have always been chosen as the president after the direct elections. Of course, this is no coincidence. Those successes are no coincidence, because in each term we have protected our close relations with our nation, and we have given a very challenging exam in terms of administering Turkey and governing the Republic of Turkey. Of course, there are the ones who cannot stand to the dominance of the Republic of Turkey in those geographies. There are the ones who cannot still accept the Justice and Development Party being the government. As I have always stated, we are successful because we have trusted to our nation, and we have received our power from our nation. What Mehmet Akif says, the faith is such a treasure, the hearts without a faith will be a burden in our chest. With our faith, with our beliefs, with our ambitions, we have worked day and night so that we have come to this point. Every obstacle that we are facing with, every trap that has been set up in front of us, have been overcome with such level of ambition. From the first day of our government, the discussions about changing regimes have been discussed always. 20 years past, there are still the ones who are trying to abuse this issue for their political gains. However, during this 20 years of a time frame, Turkey developed itself in terms of rendering services, in terms of the democratization. With its education services, security services, justice, logistics and energy sector, and with its industry, agricultural development and urbanization, with its sport activities, social aids and tourism sector, the whole facade of Turkey has been improved and changed by us. With all the masterpieces and the services that we have rendered for our country, the prosperity of our nation improved, and the horizon of our nation has been broadened even further, so our nation is looking forward, looking to the future with a higher level of self-confidence. Unfortunately, there are the ones who are connecting their future to the disaster of our nation, have always opted for the campaign of spreading lies and defamation rather than creating masterpieces or rendering service to our nation. Those are the ones who are cooperating and collaborating with the terrorist organizations or the axis of evil. So these are the people, these are the team comprised of such people who are unprecedented in themselves. They are always opting for the discourse of claiming that the whole nation collapsed and the whole economy collapsed. So their mental compass is not directing towards to the bright future of our nation, and our fight against those axes have never ended and will most probably never end. My brothers and sisters, we have eradicated of our enemies physically, but unfortunately we couldn't get rid of the dirt of this mentality left behind in those lands. There are the ones who are attacking on our nation via such discourses, and Mr. Akif gives the most beautiful answer to those attacks. This state will never collapse. You can never say that this state will never collapse in the face of such attacks. So the ones who are howling on our nation will spark the ambition for further work. You should listen to your faith and believe. The ones who will try to silence your conscience will try to silence your child. Believe in your Creator. Believe in your faith. If there is a road, then this is the road you should be opting for, because there is no any other road that I have known of. We have overcome many obstacles which are thought to be insurmountable, and we have get rid of all those difficulties, and hopefully, and with the God's permission, we will defeat this mentality of troublemakers and defeatists. Rather than opting for pessimism, we will make sure that we are working ambitiously, and we will work day and night for resolving any sort of issue standing in front of our nation. And step by step, we will construct this great and stronger Turkey. Valuable friends, yesterday in the plenary session of Turkish Grand National Assembly, we have discussed the motion for authorizing the military use for cross-border operations to be extended for another 2 years, and it has been voted. And this motion for the military deployment has been used many years in our fight against the terrorist organizations. This is a routine implementation. In the last 75 years, 76 different motions for military deployment has been discussed in our parliament, and they have been adopted. And the reason behind this motion for military deployment was to prevent the terrorist corridors tried to be constructed surrounding our borders, so that we can eradicate the source of terror on site. So, in addition to PKK, YPG terrorist organizations, there is another threat coming from the terrorist organizations like Daesh. The political party members of the HDP made a call to the CHP, and This call was an extension of the HDP, and they were claiming that they will support CHP if the CHP is vetoing this motion for military deployment, and they were even threatening the opposition party, the CHP. In such a case, an honorable political party leader should have said, "How dare you? You can threaten us. We can develop our own policies." So we have expected such kind of an answer from such an opposition party leader. But unfortunately, this is not the CHP that we are facing with. And the CHP announced that they will veto the motion for military deployment before hours of voting. And despite the CHP, we have taken the necessary steps in order to provide the safety and security of our nation, and we will continue to do so. There are the ones who are trying to distance Turkey from Syria, and they are opting for different arguments, and they are opting for buffooneries, and we know what you are trying to steal from those people, but at least you shouldn't be doing this openly. What matters here is that the CHP, which is the second biggest political party in Turkey, is submitting itself to the toy of terrorist organization, to HDP. It is so upsetting that the second biggest political party in Turkey is kneeling down in the face of terrorist organization. It is so upsetting for the democracy of Turkey. They are defining themselves as the soldiers of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and unfortunately it is so upsetting even for us to see them kneeling down in the face of a political party who are defining them as the dogs of Mustafa Kemal. I hope that our citizens who are voting for CHP will be much more patient. Unfortunately, the leader of the CHP is not upset with this political picture. So I am leaving them to the discretion of our nation, the CHP, whose leader says that being a soldier is no game. They have no idea what strategic moves should be taken for protecting the safety and security of our nation. So it will be absurd to talk about strategic moves to be taken in the international arena. They do not know that our army is comprised of professional soldiers, so the cross-border operations are not carried out with ordinary people collected from the streets, so we can not discuss those topics with such an ignorant person. So it is right that we are the chief commander of the Turkish armed forces. But the question to be asked is, how come Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu is an ordinary private receiving orders from the HDP? So there are the ones who are embracing any sort of policy against Turkey, and when it comes to supporting this nation, they are abstaining from it, so we are not shocked. And with this voting for the military deployment motion, it has been crystal clear that they are cooperating and collaborating. And the political party who is a member of the Nations Alliance voted yes for this motion, so they presented a different stance from other allied political parties. So we are so pleased that İYİ Party voted yes for the motion for military deployment, which is actually a national issue. And together with the National Movement Party, we are in full coordination regarding to this national issue, and there is even no need for me to repeat it. Recently, a group of grand ambassadors have made wrongful announcements about a trial that has been going on in Turkey, and we have responded accordingly, but unfortunately Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu was concerned with this response. Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu, who became the leader of its political party after a tape scandal, and Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu is a person who overlooks to all those scandals of assaults in his political party. Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu is also a person who claims that he will leave his position after losing the election. So such kind of a person who is an example of dicacity is not expected to respond honorably such kind of a development. After such kind of announcements coming from the grand ambassadors, we have seen where our MPs are standing for. So let's see a small video where we see the anti-national movement of our opposition party. So they said nothing to those grand ambassadors, so he only attacked to our president. And he overlooked to the increasing attacks of the PKK and YPG. Why should we say yes to this motion for military deployment? On what grounds? Our police and forces and the armies went to the Syria, but what they are fighting for. And his statements bring along the words of Mithat Sancar, and Mithat Sancar was asking for this motion to be vetoed by the CHP. The opposition parties will vote no to this motion for military deployment, and this should be the case. Yes. Such kind of issues are also a very important source for differentiating between the political parties who are working against our nation and the political parties who are working for the independence of this nation. So those people who are upset after the adoption of this motion for military deployment has no connection with those lands and with this nation. On the other hand, Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu has this habit of verbally assaulting the public officers, which he increased remarkably during the recent times. From the prosecutors to the teachers, from the pensioners to the tradesmen and to the industrialists, Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu verbally attacks on everyone, so that he has the dreams and efforts of bringing back the times of single-party CHP fascism. So let's remember his concern and attacks on the public officers. Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, do you think he can stand in front of me? I know that he cannot stand in front of me, so he should have such a strong heart. And I mean, the president received 52% of the votes, and he is upset that he is not able to receive 55% of the votes, and in every election you are losing to the president. For 11 years of his term, after so many defeats in the election, he didn't receive and he didn't any exempt from his losses, but he is attacking and even insulting on our citizens and our nation. And he is insulting every part of our nation. And he is also insulting to our teachers who are working day and night in order to raise our future generations. If there are still the teachers who are supporting the government, unfortunately I cannot define them or deem them as the teachers. And he is also insulting to our artisans and tradesmen. If you are voting for Justice and Development Party, then I will chase after you and ask for your response. And he is also verbally attacking and insulting on our independent prosecutors. And he is also insulting on our farmers who are trying to earn their bread working summer and winter times. And I'm making a call to all our farmers. So if during the first election, if you are voting for the Justice and Development Party, then I will ask you about this. Well, there are the artists who are supporting the Justice and Development Party, but the artists should be rebellious and they should rebel against the political parties. So I wonder why those artists, why those love men are supporting the political party and government. And he is also threatening the members of the media as well. On 8th and 9th of June, all those newspapers will be seized. And he is also insulting on the Ottoman Empire, which distributed justice for more than 600 years. So, against the oppression of the Ottoman Empire, many fights have been fought in those lands, he says. And he is also daring the insult to public officers with all those statements and announcements. He is targeting the public officers and threatening the bureaucrats. When the government changes, then those inquisitions and trials will be initiated. So I would like to make a call to all public officers. You cannot get rid of those trials claiming that we have been given orders. In the history of the Republic of Turkey, he has been proven to be the members of the parliament, which is not welcomed by the nation after losing and being defeated so many times in the elections, and then he has to be questioned. Each public officer in this country, each individual in this country is under the protection of its state. And the delirium of Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu is only serving for its own scandal. So, as such a political party leader who has no idea about what he is articulating and saying is just creating conspiracy theory for the future of our nation. So it is so upsetting. And I have stated before that this guy should be examined mentally. So there is no need to extend our speech. I mean, can you imagine this guy is insulting on the Ottoman Empire? How dare you? How come you can spread insults on our Ottoman Empire? For 600 years, the Ottoman Empire has been well known by the whole globe. How come you can insult to the Ottoman Empire? How disrespectful it is. So unfortunately, he is of low character. For 600 years, Ottoman Empire has dominated the whole globe. From one end to the other end of the globe, the Ottoman Empire has ruled over those lands, and you will find the courage to insult our ancestors. We will never allow you to do this, and we will never allow you to spread such insults. You can have cooperation and collaboration with any person you like. Syria, that you always ask questions about, even in those lands, you will see the footsteps of our ancestors. So you are curious about those lands. And again, the National Pact has the traces of the Ottoman Empire. So we still trust in the wisdom and the national will of our people. May God help us all. Valuable friends, I do believe 2023 hopefully will be the year when Mr. Kemal will learn his lesson once again. However, we will work very much and we will put a lot of effort. Our youth branches, our women branches, and our Central Execution Committee will work very much. We have wonderful opening ceremonies in Eskişehir, and with all those opening ceremonies, we have opened 52 factories, and in addition to that, we have carried out another mass opening ceremonies of 106 factories. So he is asking us what do we do, and these are the services that we are rendering for our nation. This is who we are. On the other hand, in our culture center, our women branches have had a wonderful organization, and with all those activities in the provincial square, we have carried out a wonderful organization, putting an end to our Eskişehir visit. Yesterday we were in Azerbaijan, and in the Fuzuli province we have carried out the opening ceremony of the new airport. This airport has been constructed within 8 months of a time frame, and the Turkish companies have involved in the construction of this airport, and we have carried out the opening ceremony of this airport together with our ministers and MPs. And on site we have a chance to observe together with the Azerbaijani president, my brother Ilham Aliyev, what is being done in the field of smart agriculture, and we have also opened the smart agriculture facility. And there are many more developments unfolding in Azerbaijan. Hopefully, from Fuzuli to Istanbul, the transportation corridor will be ready, hopefully, from Fuzuli to Istanbul. The roads will be constructed, and right now the studies are ongoing regarding to the construction of those roads. On one side, the railways and constructions are going on, and on the other hand, the highways constructions are going on, and the Turkish contracting companies are working day and night. And with all those reciprocal efforts, our brotherhood will be clenched even further. Hopefully, thanks to this brotherhood between Turkey and Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan will be one of the most important examples of revival and economic development, and hopefully our solidarity and brotherhood will continue. And thanks to this solidarity and brotherhood, hopefully Azerbaijan will be one of the countries which will be a source of inspiration. In the field of agriculture, they are taking very important steps, and with all those steps taken in the agricultural sector, all the mines are being cleansed from the region which has been laid by the Armenians. So all those lands which are cleansed from the mines are turning into edible lands. So our mechanical and chemical industry cooperation has manufactured a mine screening machine, and we have given this machine to our brotherly country Azerbaijan, and they are making use of those machines. So with the remote control system, they are cleansing the mines from those lands. This is an unmanned mine cleansing machine. So this also shows how much Turkey and Azerbaijan being developed technologically. Fuzuli, Shusha hopefully will have the breakthrough in the tourism sector as well. May God help them and help us as well. I'd like to extend my love and respect to each one of you. Stay healthy and safe.
Sayın Genel Başkanımız ve Cumhurbaşkanımıza konuşmalarından dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Değerli milletvekilleri, grup toplantımız sona ermiştir. Saat 14'te Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclisi Genel Kurul toplantılarına başlayacak. Tüm milletvekili arkadaşlarımızı genel kurulda bekliyorum.